Hey guys, let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Ooh, this has like a little glare to it. Can you guys hear me and see me? Can you type in the chat where you're from? Unable to connect to chat. Okay, now I see the chat. I was like, what's going on? Okay. Good morning, good afternoon. For me, it's the evening. Hey, hey. Just wait for a few more people to hop on. Good evening. It's 5 p.m. here in Paris. We actually switched the clocks back, I think like about a week ago, and someone left a comment saying that they keep missing when my premieres go live because the time has switched or something. I don't know if anyone else has had that problem, but let me know. It's like she's signed up to receive notifications for my videos, but then whenever I go live, she misses the live stream. Ooh, the Caribbean. Chicago, California, Maryland, Georgia, San Fran. I used to live in San Fran. Houston, New York. Oh, so what time is it in the US? Like Eastern time. Ooh, Puerto Rico. Hey, Michael. Oh, it's 11. Oh, I always try and time it at 12. But I didn't realize you guys switched your time back too. I hope this glare for my necklace isn't super annoying. Oh, our clocks went back last night. Ah. Okay, so then I'll start doing these at 6 probably so that it's 12 p.m. your time. Okay. All right, I'm going to try and have both of these open so that I can see what you guys are saying. Hi. Okay, cool. So hey everyone, for those of you who are new here, I'm Tiff. I'm an American living in Paris, and I started my YouTube channel to really help people navigate life abroad. And I wanted to hop on here because there have been some recent changes in Paris, of course, in regards to everything that's going on in the world. So just a few days ago, so on Friday, we actually went into another lockdown. So we are in wave 2 currently. So the president gave a speech on Wednesday night, basically saying that he would enforce a lockdown in Paris until around mid-December. But after he gave that speech, I was reading articles that said it would only go until December 1st. So let's see what happens. But if I'm being honest with you guys, sorry. If I'm being honest with you guys, the last time we had our lockdown in March, he had said 2 weeks and it lasted for 3 months. So I'm kind of like, who knows what's going to happen? But our lockdown measures are pretty much the same as what they were last time. So we basically have to carry around that attestation. So I don't know if you guys have watched my other videos where I talk about our first lockdown, but in our very first lockdown, we basically had to carry around this form. Now it's digital, so we can carry it around on our phones, where we have to fill out our name, our birthday, our address, and the reason why we're leaving our house. And there are only 4 reasons why we can leave our house: if it's for exercise, if it's to get groceries, and I always forget the last 2. I need to look at the form again. So yeah, we're in it, guys. Everything is shut down: restaurants, bars, basically all non-essential shops are shut down. And I have heard that they're going to reassess every 2 weeks to see if the lockdown could be lifted at all, or anything. But yeah, maybe it's walking a pet. Honestly, I can't. You coughed. You have COVID. Maybe it is walking a pet. I don't know. But yeah, we're in it. So basically the same as last time. So we actually just ordered a bunch of food yesterday just to kind of stock up, because whenever this happens, I don't like being outside too much. And if I'm being honest with you guys, like even when the lockdown was lifted, I literally only left my house maybe once or twice a week, and it was usually to film. So I wasn't really out all of the time anyway. So when he announced it, I think a lot of us were expecting it. And for me, because I've just kind of gotten used to staying at home, I mean, yes, it's not so fun, but I'm like, okay, like we can do this type of thing. I think going into the first one was a lot scarier than going into this one, just because during the first one, none of us knew like what to expect at all. But I do have to say, I think my only concern about this one is probably not being able to go home for Christmas. And I'm super close to my family. I go home for Christmas every single year. So that's going to be a tough one for me, is just not really being able to go home for Christmas, depending on how long this goes for. So let's see. Oh my God, every time someone coughs or sneezes in Walmart, I'm freaking out. And guys, it kind of feels like all of Europe is starting to shut down, because I know in other countries they're either on a curfew, they're either on a partial lockdown, or on an actual lockdown. So I'm not sure if you guys knew, but for us in Paris, it actually started with a curfew. So I want to say we were on curfew for maybe 2 weeks or so, where basically all restaurants and things were closed between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. So we basically had to be indoors between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. So that's kind of how it started. And honestly, when he gave his speech on Wednesday, we were all expecting for the curfew to just be moved up a bit. Like we were all like, oh, he's probably just gonna move the curfew up to 7 a.m. And nope, full on lockdown. So is this glare getting on anyone's nerves? I can see the glare, but I don't know if you guys can, because it's like, it's bothering me and I'm the one talking. It's bling bling. Okay, I just like don't want to annoy anyone with this. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's the big update on Paris. And I don't know, guys, I'm honestly not surprised. I was talking to my friend the other day about it, and I'm at the point where I kind of feel like we're just going to keep on with this cycle until there's an actual vaccine. So let's see. And like we were doing so good in Paris. I kind of feel like in August, when everyone was going on vacation, because again, if you guys have seen some of my videos, I talk a lot about how in August, like everyone goes on vacation. It's basically like the summer holiday month in Paris. Everyone takes vacations. And I kind of think with all of that movement going on, our cases started to rise a lot, because when it was lifted in May and even in June, we were in a really, really good position. So yeah, but I mean, it's tough. Oh, thank you. Love your style. So yeah, so we were in a really good spot and then a not so good spot. So let's see what happens. Let's see. Yeah. Are most of you guys tuning in from the United States, it seems like? Canada. Okay. How are things in Canada? I've heard Canada has been pretty good about keeping things in order. Oh, Switzerland. Oh my gosh. Me and my boyfriend actually want to plan a trip to Switzerland soon. I really want to visit Geneva. Oh, the Netherlands is in lockdown again too. I have a really good friend that lives in Amsterdam. I honestly didn't even realize. When did your lockdown in Netherlands start? New Jersey, Montreal. Okay, so it kind of seems like everyone's kind of going through it again. So, we just got to do what we can do and do the best we can to stay safe. No gatherings, restaurants are closed. Yeah, I will say this time around, like I feel like the first time we had our lockdown, things were closed, closed, closed. Like I couldn't even find some of my favorite restaurants on Deliveroo or Uber Eats. So for those of you in the US, Deliveroo is one of the bigger delivery services out here, kind of like Seamless. But this time, a lot more restaurants are doing delivery, I have to say, and takeout and things like that. So they're kind of now just closed for us to actually sit down. But I have noticed that some of the restaurants out here are still kind of like posting on Instagram that they're open and can still do like takeaway and delivery. So that's, I guess, pretty good news. Oh, no, no lockdown in North Carolina. Oh, my friends in North Carolina. Ooh, Zurich. Yes, I love good food. Do my parents want me to move back home? Oh my gosh. So when this first started, like the lockdown in Paris, like my parents were calling me like, Tiff, are you sure you don't want to come home while everything's going on? And for me, Paris has become home. So I feel very comfortable here and my boyfriend's here. So I felt very comfortable staying here. Of course, my parents want me to move home at some point. But for right now, Paris is home. Like, I really, really do love it here, despite everything that's going on. I feel really comfortable here. And yeah, so I plan to stay here as long as I can. Yes, my parents and family and friends do really want me to come home. And it makes me really sad that like I probably won't be able to go home for Christmas. Cause again, like I said, I'm very, very close to my family and I have a lot of great people close to me who live in Boston. So that's really, really tough. And I was actually having this conversation with a friend not too long ago, just about when you move abroad, it's sometimes like you have to try and navigate your life abroad while still keeping up with everything going on in the United States. And when things like this, like what our current state of the world is right now, happen, it just makes it 10 times harder. But yeah, I guess that kind of is a downside to moving abroad, is just not being able to show up for family and friends in the way that you're used to. Because like when I was living in New York or just living in the States, like I wanted to be at everything. Like a friend had a baby, I was in LA. Like someone needed me to throw me a baby shower, I was there. And I think kind of not being able to do all of those things now, and especially with the state of the world right now, it does, it is hard. It is really hard. And those of you who are moving abroad, I'm sure can relate to this. But that's one thing that isn't so fun, I would say, about moving abroad, because I'm very, very close to my family and I have some awesome people just living in the States in general who I love so much. And that can be really, really tough. Is the US election a vibe there? I mean, I feel like for the Americans, like we're all encouraging people to vote, and every American that I know out here has voted, which is awesome. So it's not being heavily talked about, but amongst the Americans, I can say that like we are all like very serious about this election, and everyone who I know out here that's American, I'm pretty sure has voted. So um, you can make a video about cats. What three things do you feel gratitude for? Ooh, this is a good one. I love this question because I actually, maybe about a month ago, just started a gratitude practice where I say 3 things that I'm grateful for in the morning and 3 things that I'm grateful for before I go to sleep. And I always try and pick 3 different things. And I don't know what it is. And I don't know if any of you guys have a gratitude practice, but I have been feeling just so good waking up and going to sleep at night just by implementing this. So I would say one thing I'm very grateful for is just being able to live comfortably during all of this. You know, I have a roof over my head. I have food in my fridge. And also, gratefully, my family and friends have been protected during all of this, which I'm so, so grateful for. It's heartbreaking just to know like how many lives this virus has taken. So I'm definitely super, super grateful for that, for sure. I'm grateful. I'm also very grateful for my life in Paris. You know, it wasn't an easy decision for me to make at all, which I kind of want to get into, just kind of talking about how to overcome fear and doubt when it comes to moving abroad, because it is a very scary thing. But I'm so grateful that I listened to my gut and I just took the leap, and the next best step that I knew was the right thing for me to do, because it's not always easy. It can be really hard, especially when you have friends and family who are kind of fearful about what you're doing and, you know, don't really know anyone who has done this before, and you're moving out here by yourself. But I am so, so grateful that I just did it, you know? And to this day, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I look at myself at 27 when I first moved and I'm like, who was this girl? Like, what were you thinking to just like give up everything and move? But I'm so, so grateful that I did. Honestly, I really, really am. And the last one, you know, I have to say, I'm so grateful for you guys. I honestly, truly am. Like, I'm so grateful just to have a community who I can help and who's really excited about the content that I produce and share. Because, you know, for me, my channel is nothing without you guys. And every comment, every DM, every message, honestly, like, you guys have lifted my spirit so much too with all of this. Cause like I said, I mean, I was working out here. My contract ended in February, and I knew that I wanted to do my own thing and didn't really know where to start. And I started YouTube. And I think just having like such a cool community has made this so much fun. Like, I love that I can hop on here and just talk to you guys and go live and, you know, just have a community of people who are excited about moving abroad and traveling, or just want to know more about like what it is to live abroad. I think stuff like this is just so cool. So honestly, I'm so, so grateful for you guys. Like, you have no idea. It's always so fun to connect with you, talk to you, make videos, look at the comments. And I really hope to continue to help and inspire you guys as much as I can. Now that I'm in lockdown, I'm going to be really thinking of some cool video ideas to kind of help you get you guys in the right mindset to move abroad, if that's something that you want to do, and just share more of my journey with you guys, because I really do want more people to have this type of experience. It's been so awesome for me, and it's something that I don't just want to keep to myself. It's something that I want you guys to experience too. So I do want to try and give you as many tools and content and words of wisdom and advice as I can to kind of help you in this journey. It's kind of something that I wish I had when I was in the position of moving abroad, because when it was me, like, I really didn't have anyone. I had a friend who was living in Spain at the time, and I knew a girl who had done the program the year before I was doing it, but that was really it, you know? So kind of just moving out here like on my own. I honestly wasn't even watching YouTube that much. To this day, I don't even watch a ton of YouTube. So I didn't really have a lot of points of reference when it came to making the big move. So I kind of look at this channel too as just thinking about what I needed when I moved abroad and when I moved to Paris, and kind of just trying to give that to you guys. So sorry, that was kind of a long-winded answer to the last note on what I'm grateful for, but I am so grateful for you guys. Thank you guys for being here, for showing up for me, for showing up to these live streams. It really does mean a lot. It does. You would like to do an internship in Paris? Looking for it? Cool, cool, cool. My boyfriend. I'm sure he'll appear at some point. But yes, he is a bit camera shy. So yeah, I'm working from home. I'm working on YouTube stuff. I'm working on some other projects. So, and actually what I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit on here is kind of just asking you guys, like, who is interested in moving abroad, like in the near future, like once things open up. Oh, thank you. My boyfriend actually got it for me for my birthday. I really wanted to ask you guys, like, who is really interested in moving abroad, who has fears or doubts about moving abroad. I kind of want to see like where you guys are at. I know some of you also just watch my channel just to kind of see a glimpse of life in Paris. But for those of you who could see yourself, living abroad in, I don't know, 1, 2, 5 years from now, let me know. And let me know where you're interested in moving to. I'm in my 50s. Listen, age ain't nothing but a number. Like, anyone has the opportunity to move abroad. Ooh, Paris within the next 2 years. Okay. Paris. Asia or Colombia, super cool. I've been to Hong Kong. It's the only place I've been to Hong Kong. In Asia. I've never been to Colombia though. Paris. London. Okay, super cool. Oh, an exchange program. Awesome. College. Ghana. Super cool. Lyon. Oh, my boyfriend studied in Lyon. 60s? Yeah, listen, it ain't nothing but a number. Anyone has the opportunity to move abroad. England. I don't know the average age for master's students in general in Paris, but for my program specifically, the majority of us were around 30. So I was in the program when I was 27. I'm trying to think. Sorry for the sirens, guys. That Paris city noise. Most people were around 30, I would say, but then there were people who were a bit older than that. So, but don't let that stop you. I mean, anyone can get their master's degree at any age, but that's just what it was for my specific program. Black in France, I did an entire video on that with my French friend. Definitely check that out. I don't want to spend too much time on that. And same with my school. I have an entire study abroad video. So definitely check that out. Cool. So I'm asking you guys this question too, and kind of want to get clear on some of the fear and doubts that you have. Because I recently released a guide. So I'm not sure if any of you guys downloaded my guide as of yet. I put the link in the description of this video because for me, coming here, my mindset was everything. So I think a lot of you guys, if you haven't downloaded the guide yet, you'll be surprised that it's kind of what I started with. It's not like a step-by-step guide to move abroad. It's more of first getting in the right mindset to move abroad so that I can roll out other things to you. So think of it as a prerequisite for other things that I want to share with you guys. But I say this because I'm going to tell you guys a story. So before I even decided like to move to France or anything like that, I was really, really big on and I still really am just really big on mindset and setting intentions, following your gut and all of this stuff. And oh, you downloaded it. Awesome. Oh, cool. So sorry, I just like lost my train of thought. So before I even thought about moving abroad, like it was so important for me to like set clear affirmations and intentions for me to get to where I wanted to go. And I'm sure you guys can relate to this. I was in a place, so I was living in New York, and I was feeling so stuck in my career. I was feeling so stuck. It was kind of like every day was beginning to feel the same. I kind of felt like I had learned everything I needed to learn on my job. I also wasn't super happy with my job in just that climate and that working environment. And I was definitely looking for a change, but I had a lot of fear, about like, okay, Tiff, what's going to be the next step? Because for me, I had already graduated from Howard. I had already taken a leap and moved to San Francisco, wasn't in love with that, and then made the leap to New York, didn't love that. And I was like, oh my God, Tiff, like, what are you doing? And it was really scary because I was like, okay, I know that there's something more than this, but I wasn't exactly sure what it was. So for me, something that helped me push past my fear was I wrote on my bedroom mirror, I will never forget this, and it actually still is written on my mirror in my parents' house, because I brought that mirror back to my parents' house, but I just wrote, "It's happening." I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what it would lead to. Honestly, guys, I had absolutely no idea, but I just wrote, "It's happening." And every day I would look at that mirror, look in the mirror just as I was getting dressed, and I would see it's happening. I would come home from work and I would see it's happening. And I swear, just like having this vision and this thoughts of something was happening kind of helped guide me to kind of manifest all that has been Paris for me. And let me know if you guys have had like similar experiences with this, but this is the biggest reason why in my first kind of guide for you guys, the free guide that I wanted to share with you, it was a guide to kind of get super, super clear on your vision and what you want out of life, and understand those positive affirmations that could get you there. Do you know what I mean? Because for me, like setting an intention has been everything and more for getting me to actually each level of my life. And it's just helped me so much. And I think sometimes when we're just going, we kind of forget the power of words and affirmations and intentions in terms of, where they can get us. And I kind of feel like saying something excuse me. I sometimes think that saying something so simple as "it's happening" sometimes opens your mind and your world to so many different possibilities. I'm actually reading a book right now called "The Universe Has Your Back" by Gabrielle Bernstein, who I absolutely love. And she talks a lot about this too. But yeah, so that's kind of why I wanted to get you guys grounded in your mindset and, those positive affirmations that could really help open your mind and your heart to all of the possibilities and getting you to where you need to be. Because for me, my "it's happening" led me to the right MBA program for me that landed me in Paris. For you, your affirmation could be directing you abroad in a completely different way, but in a way that's so unique to you. So for any of you guys who haven't downloaded the guide yet, I highly encourage you to do so. Again, the link is in my description, and it's really something that I think will also open your mind just up to, what you really, really want out of life. Who knows? Maybe you do it and you actually figure that moving abroad isn't something you really want to do. Maybe you just want to travel abroad, or, maybe you do actually really want to move abroad and want to make it happen in 2021 or 2022. But I think kind of before planning the move and just planning the move and even deciding to make the move, I think it's so important to get grounded in what you really, really want out of life, which is something that I took a lot of time doing when I was just in this phase of feeling so stuck and just so frustrated. And kind of for me, even seeing those words on my mirror every day also helped me become less frustrated because I knew something was happening. I didn't know exactly what it was yet, but I knew it was coming, and sure enough, it did. So yeah, and when you guys do download the guide, please let me know your thoughts. Send me a DM. Tag me in your Instagram posts if you want, because I really do love hearing from you guys. As I said earlier, like I really do love hearing from you guys and hearing your thoughts on the things that I put out there. So always happy to have your thoughts when it comes to things like this. But this is the first guide of many, I hope, and just something kind of easy I wanted to put out as one of my first things to kind of just get you guys thinking about life and opportunities and what you really want out of it. So that's what I want to say about the guide. Oh, so the link, I heard someone asking for the link. So the link is going to be in the description of this video. And I also have it in my bio on Instagram. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you can find it there. I think it's like the first link that I have up. So that's what I wanted to say about that. But do any of you guys have any fears around moving abroad? I mean, of course, right now with the state of the world, I mean, things are crazy and we don't exactly know when people can travel or move or anything like that. But outside of kind of what's going on, like in terms of actually just making the move, do you guys have any fears or doubts or worries? I'd love to talk through that with you. Super excited. Yes, I love to hear that. Oh, no worries. I love when you guys talk to each other in the chat, like help each other out as much as you can. That's totally fine. Smile. You want to be able to work for an American company but live in Paris. So I hear you, because a lot of the American companies are English speaking, but don't limit yourself. Like, I would maybe open it up to international companies here, because I have heard that there are international companies here that do sometimes take on English speakers. And I think especially when it comes to marketing and creative and social media roles, because I can say in my role, like I was kind of sometimes helping look at the copy and things like that for certain things. And sometimes they need native English speakers to help out with that. So maybe not just limit it to American, but maybe more like international global companies could be a good idea. And I wish with this job thing, I had more resources for you guys. Kind of what I said in my working abroad video, I kind of feel like your best bet is looking on LinkedIn. And if you see someone who's working in an industry or has a role in Paris that you could see yourself in, reach out to them, ask them to have a coffee, not for a coffee, I mean, in these circumstances, but maybe just for a call. I honestly was doing a lot of that when I had first graduated from my MBA program, and I made a lot of really cool connections. So that's definitely what I can say for that. No fears or concerns, but do I sell all of my stuff? Do I rent a house? What do I do? That's real. So I'm trying to think. When I moved out of New York, I did actually sell a bunch of stuff. So I was selling things on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I tried to get everything out of that apartment before I moved. And luckily, my parents live in Boston. So whatever I couldn't sell, I was able to store at their house in Boston. So if you don't have anywhere to store something, then yes, I highly recommend just selling everything that you can. I mean, why not make money before you move abroad? Like extra money that you might need. Highly recommend that. Do you rent a house in terms of, are you saying like, do you rent a house in terms of like when you move? Because I kind of have mixed feelings about this. Like, I kind of feel like, especially if you've never lived in the city or country before, it would be really cool to kind of maybe find like a shorter term stay so that you can actually get here and explore and figure out the area that you might actually want to settle down in. Because sometimes when you just like pick a place off the internet or without having really seen the area, you're not always really sure like what the area is like and things like that. So if you can get a shorter term stay at first to be able to kind of check out the area, and so that when you actually are looking to rent a place, you feel good about the area. That's something that I would personally recommend. Yeah, I will say both finding a job and finding an apartment in Paris specifically can be really tough. I can't speak for other countries. And I think the apartment hunt in Paris, guys, oh my gosh, like, and I know I say this a lot in live streams and other videos, but it can just be really tough. And I think it's because there's usually more people who are looking for an apartment than there are apartments in the city at times. And I think the requirements just are very, very strict very strict compared to like what I went through in San Francisco and New York. I honestly was not expecting it, but it is doable, but it does take time. Like, as I said in some other videos, I mean, I was looking for this apartment that I currently live in for like 3 to 4 months. Like, it definitely took me a while. So give yourself time. And that's why sometimes I say, like, if you can find like a shared space or an Airbnb or something just to hold you over for a few months, just so you can look for the right place, that's what I would recommend. Oh, I haven't heard about too many problems like flooding or anything in Paris. I will say, I had an issue where I guess the apartment below me said that there was a leak, and I guess it was coming from my apartment, but it was really weird. Like, we couldn't even find the plumber came, he couldn't actually find where it was in my apartment, but my landlord pretty much took care of a lot of things. Usually when it comes to things that need to get fixed, like, your landlord will usually help take care of that. So, oh, you said rent out your house that you own. Oh, I don't have experience with that. When I was living in New York, I was living with two of like my best friends. So they just had to find a new roommate, which I, tried to help them with. So I unfortunately don't have experience with renting out a house or anything, but who knows? Maybe someone in the chat might have some advice for you. Just gonna look through some more of these questions. How do you deal with some of the attitudes in Paris or adjust to French culture? So, if I'm being honest with you, I haven't really come across too many people who have been like outwardly mean to me or anything like that at all. And I think I said this in my Emily in Paris reaction video as well. Like, I've actually run into very cool people in Paris and people who are very encouraging and helpful for the most part. Um, I think, and I think especially when it comes to the language, I think sometimes if you just start speaking to them um, if you start speaking in French when you go into an establishment, they're kind of more than willing to help or guide you. And kind of like I shared in my Emily in Paris video too, like, more often than not, people will switch into English if they pick up my accent, and are very encouraging. I mean, I have run into, certain situations, which I don't even think is more so the culture, because I feel like this could happen in America too. Like, I remember me and my friend were walking and something happened. I think she had gotten a bloody nose or something. And we walked into a restaurant and I was like, please, like, we just need a napkin. And he was being very much like, no, you have to sit down and get a table. Like, we can't just give you a napkin. And I remember getting like super frustrated about like things like that. But I don't think that's like a cultural thing, because I'm sure that could happen in the United States too. But I think for me, in terms of adapting to the culture, like, I will say when I first came here, I was super intimidated by the language. And sometimes I still am, because as most of you guys know, I'm still like working to become fluent, like really working to become fluent. It's definitely really hard. It's been very tough for me. But I will say when I first moved here, I was just very intimidated by the culture because I didn't really know what to expect. And when I first moved, I think I just had this vision of Parisians and the French, that they were just very proper and very put together and just and I'm like, oh my gosh, here I come along like feeling like a hot mess. And I don't know why, but for some reason, I just felt like they were so put together and so proper and so polite, which at times they really are, and I think I was just kind of intimidated by a lot of things. But I think now that I've lived here for a few years, honestly, they're just like us in a lot of ways. If I'm being honest with you, I think the one thing that I've noticed, and I think I share in some of my videos too, is that they are like very real, like, they say what they mean and they mean what they say. And I think that was kind of an adjustment at first, just because I do sometimes feel like in the States, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on this too, I kind of do feel like we're like, oh, like kind of trying to be like extra nice and extra friendly and things like that. Here, they're more just real. If they like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. It's not personal. It's just a preference. And so I can definitely say that about the culture. I'm trying to think of other things. That's all that I can think off the top of my head. But if I can think of any other ones as I'm talking with you guys, I'll definitely let you know. But oh my gosh, grocery shopping was a shocker for me. Someone actually asked if I would do a grocery shopping haul, which I thought was cool, because they were just interested to see like what type of food I buy here versus maybe what I was buying in the United States. So let me know if you guys would want to see something like that. And I guess since we're on lockdown, that's kind of one of the only things that I'm going to be doing when I leave the house. So I could totally do something like that for you guys. But I do have a lot of cool content coming. So actually, right before all of this, I had just started batch recording like a lot of day in the life content, a lot of sit down content. So I do still have some day in the life videos coming for you guys. I'm so glad I actually batch recorded those. So I have all of that coming in the month of November. So stay tuned. But yeah, I haven't really experienced like a huge attitude from people out here as of yet. But I'm trying to think like of other like circumstances where I might have. But I'll get back to you on that if I can think of something towards the end of the video. So someone said, I'm 24, about to start medical school. I'd love to live in Paris. But since I'm going to graduate at 29, I'm afraid that, girl, get that guide. I'm telling you, it will help you so much. I feel like if it's something that you want to do, you will make it happen. And kind of part of my story was that I had this like, when I was 16, I was playing in an orchestra in my high school and we went to Italy. And I just remember having this feeling like I'm going to move abroad before I'm 30. And it's funny because it wasn't even something that I was working hard to achieve. But then here I am, I moved when I was 27. So yes, it is scary, and I understand you being scared or might thinking you might not have the courage to do it. But if it is something that is meant for you and it is something that you have on your heart, there is a way to push past all that fear and doubt and make that happen. Grab my guide. I have run into a lot of helpful people in France. I speak Haitian Creole and my French is getting better, but I'm trying to speak in French. But I found trying to speak in French people were more helpful. Totally agree. When you start to speak in French first, they are definitely more helpful. I absolutely agree. My French is getting there. I'm starting to do a lot more things like watch movies in French. My French tutor actually gave me a lot of great movies, but it's so difficult. Like we were doing so great with lessons over the summer, but now with everything going on, of course, like we're not doing in-person lessons. So I need to see if we can do something virtual. We honestly, because this all happened so suddenly, like literally the president gave the speech on Wednesday and we all kind of had to figure out how to prepare for the lockdown. So I actually haven't gotten to touch base with her yet, but I'm sure we'll do something virtual. But so yeah, I'm trying to get this together, guys. It is a very tough language, but it gives me hope because a lot of my French friends tell me like, Tiff, 3 years really is not enough time to become fluent. And it's hard because, I feel like for a lot of people who haven't lived here, or had to learn a new language, they're like, oh my gosh, like you've been there for 3 years. But at the same time, it's kind of like, when I came here, I wasn't expecting to live here for this long. When I came here, I was planning on doing my MBA and then leaving after that year. When I came here, I had no intention of staying in France or staying in Paris for as long as I did. But I will say in that first year, I was taking lessons with the school, but they weren't enough to become fluent. And if I'm being honest with you guys, that first year, I was really, really just focused on getting my MBA. I was in a 12-month intensive program, which was crazy. I feel like I didn't really have a lot of time to do anything else besides get my MBA. Then my second year here, I was working. They did offer French classes, but it was so they only offer them during the day, and I would have meetings like during the day. So it was kind of hard to kind of navigate both. But I was still doing things on the side, like taking lessons like outside of work when I could. Oh my gosh, I remember there was like 2 months where I was trying to take virtual lessons like 4 times a week after work. And after those 2 months, I was so burnt out. I was like, Tiff, you cannot function like this. There has to be a better way to learn the language. That was really, really hard. And I think sometimes people forget that it's like when you're working a full-time job and trying to learn a language, it's like absolutely insane. Like my mind was blown. So I took a little break just from doing that and would just try and do like fun things like listen to podcasts. There's actually a great podcast channel for those of you who are trying to learn French. I think it's called Conversations in French. It's kind of like an orange square. And I love it because it's like people speaking French and it's not super, super fast. And it's been very, very helpful for me. So I was starting to do more of those things. And now I am, working with a tutor when I can, speaking more with my boyfriend when I can, watching movies in French. For those of you who are trying to learn French in France, or those of you who are looking to move to France and learn the language, there's a great app, but it's only available in France. It's called Kiosk, and I love it because it's super interactive. Because the thing for me is that it's really hard for me to learn just from like reading a textbook. Like I need things that are a bit more interactive, like whether it's watching a little show, and they actually have like little skits on Kiosk that you can kind of follow to help you learn the language, and games and things like that. So I love Kiosk. It's Qioz. It's been really helpful for me, and I highly recommend it to anyone who can actually use it because, again, it's only available in France. But the Hookup Plan, yes, the Hookup Plan is one of my favorite shows. Yes. Oh my gosh. She gave me an entire list of movies. I'm going to find the list and maybe I'll put it in the description for you guys because there were a few movies that she highly recommended that I watched. But honestly, one of them was an American movie, though, that she encouraged me to just switch the subtitles on. Switch the language to French in, which I thought was really funny. But another trick that I've heard too in regards to movies and shows in French that I've heard a lot of actually YouTubers do too is if you watch like a kid's show or a kid's movie like Monsters Inc. or something like that, and then switch the language in French, it helps a lot because they're using very basic terms, like because of course they're using very basic English terms. So it's the French is a lot easier to grasp because it's very basic. So I heard that that's a really cool trick to learn the language too, is to watch kids shows in French. How can I get a European passport? I'm not sure because I still have an American passport. I think you can only get a European passport if you're actually a citizen of a country in the EU. And I know for France, I believe you have to have been living here for 5 years and speak the language fluently. And I think there might be a few other requirements to become a French citizen. 10%. Yes, that's another good one. Yeah, the French is very fast for me in that show. But it is another good one. My French teacher did tell me about that. But I love the Hookup Plan. Like I love the storyline. I think it's the cutest show. So that's one that I love. Yeah, setting your phone language in French, Instagram in French, like Facebook in French, like all of the apps that you use in French can also be super helpful. There was also there's also a I can't remember it, guys. I'm gonna have to try and track it down for you guys. But there's also this website. It's like and I'm pretty sure it's just for French, where you can where they have like group classes where you just have to pay like a donation, like a $5 donation or a $10 donation for the class. So that could also be a really cool way to learn too. My favorite brand of butter. I don't know. I really don't eat too much butter. I've been really hooked on ghee. It's kind of like clarified butter. I've been really hooked on that, and you can get that at Naturalia out here. I love Elsa too. Oh my God, actually, guys, super funny. I was on the phone. So the character that plays Elsa is actually an actor too. I can't remember his name, but I was actually on the phone with him when I was working out here because we were gonna he has a production company. We were gonna work with him for the project, but then we didn't end up doing it. Yeah, so for the podcast, I was saying a bit earlier, there's this podcast called like Conversations in French. It's like an orange symbol. If I can, I listen to it all the time, so I'll put that in the description too for you guys because it's super helpful for me, just kind of listening to people speak the language. Because my French tutor also says like hearing it and training your ear is also number one when it comes to getting the language down. A list of flea markets. You know what's so funny? Me and my friends actually right before the first lockdown, we were supposed to go to some of the flea markets out here because I don't really frequent them. If I'm being honest with you, there's some that are around my area that used to be open like every Tuesday or so that I would go to. But other than that, like I haven't really ventured out to all the flea markets in Paris, which is a shame because I've heard they're amazing. But I can see if one of my friends has a list. Learn French conversation. Yeah, I think that's it. And it's like a little orange symbol. The cottage on YouTube. Ooh, what is the best part and worst part about living in France? Hmm. Best part, definitely being immersed in a new culture, I think has been the coolest thing ever. Like just meeting with new people, discovering a new culture, trying to learn a new language. That has been super cool. And also the food. Oh my gosh, like the food is so amazing. And a tip for you guys who are coming, I can only speak to Paris, but a tip for those of you guys who want to travel to Paris, you cannot just walk into any restaurant. Like you really have to like research the restaurant before you go in or you will be very disappointed. So when my parents came for my graduation, this was back in September of 2018, they had of course like wanted to go like near the Eiffel Tower and like see all the touristy spots. And they just they were hungry. So they just wanted to walk into any restaurant and they were so disappointed because they were walking into a lot of the brasseries and things like that. And I was like, you guys, like, this is not how you do Paris. Like you actually have to research the restaurant, look at the reviews and stuff to kind of find the good ones. But maybe I'll also have that up, like a guide to restaurants in Paris, because guys, I have found some amazing ones. So that's definitely another thing that for me is like the best part about living here. So being immersed in the culture, the food, and meeting new people for sure. So those are three. And then the worst, I think for me, the worst, and kind of how I was sharing earlier, just has been, trying to navigate my life here while kind of keep up with my life in the States as well, like my friends and family and everything that's going on. I think it's hard. It's really hard, especially, I mean, I'm 30, so now a lot of my friends are having kids and getting married and all of that stuff. And I think it's really, really hard not to be able to show up in the way that I want to when it comes to all of those things that are happening. And I mean, especially with everything that's going on now. So I definitely say that that would probably have to be the worst part, is being so far from friends and family and just not being able to see them as much as I'd like to. And maybe not being able to go home for Christmas, which is such a bummer. And it's crazy because my parents were even like, oh, could we come to you? And it's like they're not even letting Americans in this country right now, which is crazy. So it's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a bummer. I thought you were 23. I know, I do. People do say that I look young. And funny story, my first time in Paris when I was here on a Euro trip, I had wanted to go to like the Museum of Fashion or something like that. And I went to buy an adult ticket. And the lady looked at me and she was like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 20. I think I was 26 at the time. Yeah, I was like, I'm 26. And she was like, you look like you're, I can't remember. She was like, you do not look like you're 26. Like, you look like you need a children's ticket. And I was like, oh my God. I do know that sometimes I do look young. Which do you prefer, tea or coffee? Tea, totally. I'm drinking tea right now. And oh my gosh, guys, I'm drinking the best blend. I love this blend. I don't know if you guys are into Ayurvedic culture, but it's a blend with cumin seeds, coriander seeds, and fennel seeds. And it's a great way to start your morning. It's so, so good. So I drink it in the morning and then I usually just drink it throughout the day too. It's amazing. Mm, I love this tea. Um, Local experience video or discussion would be great. Ooh, artists. Okay. I actually have a day in the life coming up where I talk to one of my really good French friends about like the culture here, which I think will be interesting for you guys. And we actually talk a lot about Emily in Paris because I kind of wanted to get her perspective on Emily in Paris since I kind of did my reaction video. So that's definitely to come. Um, is the casual dating scene like it is in North America, as in are more guys? So I have an entire video on the dating scene in Paris too. So definitely check that out on my channel. But I can say the dating scene is a lot different here than it is in the United States. So here I feel like, you know, you go on 2 to 3 dates. Well, okay, maybe 3 to 5 dates. And the guy will probably think that you guys are together. Like, you're his girlfriend. So you got to be careful here. I think they just move a bit quicker and it's a bit more like it's a bit more exclusive. Like, you know, in the States, like, I mean, and I've had this happen to me, like you could be dating a guy for like 3 months and you're still not together. Like he could still be, you know, the guy you're talking to or the guy that you're just dating and it's not really your boyfriend yet. I feel like, you know, you guys could even be seeing other people. I feel like here it's like when you're seeing someone, you're usually only seeing that person. This is also just from what I've heard. And that's kind of why, like after 3 to 5 dates, if you guys have been just seeing each other, you're kind of official. But definitely check out my dating in France video. I actually have 2 videos on it. One where I share my perspective, and then 2 where I have my French guy friend come on and share his perspective. So it's a really fun video. And so this tea is actually super, super easy to make, guys. So you just get those 3 seeds that I shared with you, the fennel, the coriander, and the cumin. I have like a little, I don't know what you call it. It's, you guys, I'm blanking. I don't know what you call it, but it's like a little metal thing that has the holes in it. And you just put the seeds in, put the cap on, and throw in boiling water and let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes. And then you have your tea. Yes, food and culture coming. How do I feel about confinement? So I kind of shared a bit about this in the beginning, but I'm okay. Honestly, I'm totally okay. I think if anything, I'm just a little bummed that I might not be able to go home for Christmas, but I'm okay. Like as I was sharing earlier too, I only go out maybe once, or I was only going out once or twice a week to film anyway, so it wasn't really like I was out and about that much. So, and I'm kind of a homebody, I'm starting to notice. So I'm okay. I think we will get through it. And I'm just grateful, as I said earlier, to just have everything that I need to just live comfortably right now. So I'm okay. I think we're going to get through it. We went through it before, and I'm glad that this is kind of the second time. I think I was a little bit more freaked out the first time just because no one knew what to expect, but I'm okay, guys. Like I said, we're going to get through it. I cannot wait until, you know, the world is all back to normal and people are just 1,000% safe. But I'm glad that the country is putting the measures in place to keep people safe and to do what they need to do to bring the cases down. So right now I'm all for doing whatever we need to do to be safe and get the cases to drop. And if confinement is what we need to do, then hey, that's what we're going to do. Life in Paris, everything is shut down. Everything is shut down. Restaurants, bars, everything. All non-essential shops, grocery stores are open, pharmacies are open. We can take walks, but other than that, everything is shut down. Do French men still pay for everything when you're on a date? I mean, I think it depends. I think it's kind of like in the US. But watch the video on dating in Paris part 2 where my French guy shares his perspective, because you can hear a bit about that. Yeah, I've heard it's the same in Italy too with dating. How many times have I been to the Eiffel Tower? Oh my gosh! So when I first moved, first moved here, I was living in Sergi, which is where my school was located. And then when I first moved into Paris, when I was living in the 15th, guys, it was really cool. I was actually super close to the Eiffel Tower. I wouldn't recommend the 15th for someone who's single, like in their 20s or 30s, because it's not the funnest place to be. But where I was living, I was a 20-minute walk from the Eiffel Tower, which was super cool. So I would walk there as much as I could, and I would literally sit there, meditate, journal. I used to love to do that, but now I'm pretty far from the Eiffel, so I don't go as much. And honestly, the last time I was there, I was kind of overwhelmed with how many people were there. Because when I was living in the 15th, the side that I would go to was kind of more so on the park side versus the Trocadero. And the park side, if you can get a good spot, it's not as crowded or touristy. But the last time I went to Trocadero, which honestly is where you can get the best view of the Eiffel Tower, I just remember being so overwhelmed. Like there were so many people and I was just like, ugh, like I just don't feel like putting up with this right now. So I have been a bunch of times. I haven't yet gone to the top yet, which part of me is actually kind of nervous to do because I am super afraid of heights. I'm so afraid of heights. So let's see, maybe one day it will happen. But I have heard there's a really cool restaurant at the top too. So yeah, oh my gosh, we're already an hour in. Okay, I only wanted this to last an hour, so maybe I'll just give this another like 5 minutes. Ooh, I love the 7th arrondissement. Oh my gosh, I feel like the 7th arrondissement is magical. One of my good friends lives around there, and I just love the streets. I love the little shops. I love the 7th. I'd love to see a video talking about the different in the city, like the different areas. That's a good idea. I was actually thinking of doing like a video of like going around like the different arrondissements so you guys can kind of see like the differences in the vibe, especially for those of you who are looking to move. Because when I first moved to the 15th, like I had no idea. I honestly just moved there because a lot of other people in my program were moving into the 15th. But like after living there for a while, I was like, this is not the coolest place to be. I mean, it's beautiful and it's a nice area, but I would say a lot of families live there, older couples, things like that. And I was like, listen, where are the bars? Where are the good restaurants? Yeah, maybe that would be a cool thing to do. Oh, really? That's so interesting about you dating a French guy. Because from my perspective, like French guys overly share their feelings. Like they're very passionate. But again, I feel like everyone is still human. Everyone is still, it's kind of like in the States, like all guys aren't the same. So you're so welcome. You like the 14th. I just want to like scroll up a little bit. I talked about French lessons and things like that. I'm just scrolling up a bit, guys, just to, oh, you like my hair? Thank you. I'm on a passport talent visa. And actually, you guys should, I haven't done a video on visas yet, but Damon Dominique actually has a really, really cool video up about the visa process. So I highly encourage you to watch that video. I haven't put one up yet. You like the 19th? I actually haven't spent too much time in the 19th. Oh, the 10th, cool. Cool. Well, guys, I think I'm going to hop off too, but just wanted to hop on here to give you guys an update on everything that's going on in Paris because I feel like I just shared on Instagram, like we're going into a lockdown. So just wanted to come on here to kind of share with you guys all that's going on. Content still will be uploaded as per usual once a week. I'm actually thinking of switching my upload days to Thursdays instead of Sundays. Let me know what you guys think about that. And who knows, maybe if I can, maybe, I don't know, put out 2 every now and then a week. Let's see. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on. I haven't done a live in a while, so just wanted to chat with you guys. Thank you guys so much for hopping on here. And again, for those of you who maybe hopped on later, you can find my guide on getting in the right mindset to move abroad in the description box. So please, please download that if you haven't already and share your thoughts. Send me a DM. I love hearing from you guys and would love to know what you think of that guide. So thank you guys again so much for hopping on here with me. I'll definitely do another one of these soon because it's so much fun to chat with you guys. Yes, I am in lockdown. I actually talked about that in the beginning of the video. Sundays are cool. I know. I was kind of just trying to like do everything during an actual work week, but we'll see. So Thursdays or Sundays, I'm kind of like floating in between them right now. Cool, cool, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for being on here with me today, and I will chat with you guys soon. Bye.